for hosting a birthday party. Now a source tells ESPN's Dan Graziano that Dak Prescott does not plan to participate in virtual workouts. Cowboys executive VP Stephen Jones had this to say about it on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. Listen up.
I'm not necessarily aware of that. He certainly was sent an iPad, and I know he certainly can participate. Every player, for every player, it's voluntary, and in terms of their participation in the virtual meetings. And but I'm not aware and hadn't been made aware of to what degree Dak's participation level would be.
All right. Jones also said he did talk to Dak and Elliott about the party, which now Dak has come out and said was less than 10 people, just a meal at his house. And look who's here. Rex Ryan has joined us. Always good to see you, Rex. Max, I'm going to start with you on this one. Would Dak make a mistake by sitting out of these virtual workouts without a long-term deal?
I actually think he would be making a mistake. And you know me, normally I'm on the side of the player, on the side of labor in these situations. But the reason you would sit this out is to send a message you're not happy. Yeah, people know he's not happy. Dak, they know you're not happy. Well, they don't know how unhappy I am. I think they have a pretty good idea. Really, you would sit out a workout, or you would avoid football stuff because you want to avoid injury. Keep yourself healthy before you have a deal. But in this case, a virtual workout really just gets you up to speed if and when games are played. And I would think that is in his best interests. Whether it's with the Cowboys or someone else, and by the way, spoiler alert, it'll be with the Cowboys. Cowboys have already caved. They will continue to cave. That's how they negotiate. They draw a line in the sand. We will not make Ezekiel Elliott the highest paid. We're not going to reset the market. 1 week later, less than a week later, they reset the market. And Zeke had no leverage. Not really, not like Dak does. They've already come up to offer Dak essentially the Carson Wentz deal, which I also think is a mistake. I think it was a mistake to give it to Wentz. It's hamstrung the Eagles. I think it'll be a mistake to give it to Dak. Nevertheless, that's what's going to happen, and I think the Cowboys will continue to cave. So holding out from a virtual workout, I don't know what the upside is, but I do see the downside. And by the way, guys, I'm aware, I'm constantly coming out against Dak in these arguments. I think Dak is really good. Leadership, durability, talent, the whole thing. And I think he's on his way maybe to being great. Maybe. Hasn't done it yet, but I think maybe. But I got to call it how I see it, and I think this is a mistake.
It's not a mistake, not by a long shot. As far as I'm concerned, they wouldn't see me. The Stephen Jones, who I respect, and I love my buddy Jerry Jones. Here's the reality of the situation. Stephen Jones, lucky he was able to get Dak Prescott on the phone to complain about that little party or dinner that he had at his crib the other night. Because if I was Dak Prescott, I might not have accepted the call the way the Dallas Cowboys have disrespected me. I don't want to hear this nonsense about the $30+ million he's going to get this upcoming season because of the franchise tag that was placed upon him. The reality of the situation is that he is a quarterback that got paid about $2.1 million last season and still has not received a long-term deal. Ezekiel Elliott received a long-term deal. Jalen Smith received a long-term deal. DeMarcus Lawrence received a long-term deal. Amari Cooper received a long-term deal. But your quarterback, who's never missed a game for you, who made back page news because he missed a practice, that's it, okay? Considering the plethora of injuries you were suffering from before Dak Prescott ever got there because Tony Romo couldn't stay healthy to save his life. Here is a guy that nearly threw for 5,000 yards last year with 30 touchdowns, and you're going to sit up there and tell him that he has to wait to get paid, that you want to dictate the kind of long-term commitment that you want to have with him. First, you didn't want to give him the money. Then you didn't want to give him the terms. Then after that, you wanted to keep him longer than he wanted to stay so you could sit up there and get a bargain on him, and you're wondering why he's so ticked off. If I was Dak Prescott, you wouldn't see me virtually. You wouldn't see me literally. You wouldn't get a phone call from me. I wouldn't accept your phone calls. You could call my agent. You could call my girl. You could call my family. You can figure it out. But the one thing you ain't going to speak to is me, because there is a flagrant lack of respect that has been shown his way. I understand the economics of the NFL. Max, make sure people understand it. We heard you already. We heard you. Bottom line is, you said it ad nauseum. We get it. But in the end, they have disrespected this man. They're lucky if they get a damn phone, if he answers their damn phone call. They really are. You wouldn't see me
like that.
You would say that.
Hey, Stephen A.
You ain't put in Dak Prescott's work.
I'm going to tell you why No, I'm going to tell you why Dak Prescott accepted that call from Stephen Jones, and it's quite simple. It's this: that's who he is. He always does things right. He's been a leader. You hit it on the head. He's such a leader. This guy was a 4-time captain at Mississippi State. He knows all about leadership. He knows about work ethic, all those type of things. And that's why right now it's easy to say, no, this is a mistake. From a coach's standpoint, trust me, you don't understand the economics of it. I never did. Mike McCarthy's going to be the same thing. But when you step back and look at it from this young man's perspective, he's sitting back. His agent is running this. He's telling him, no, Dak, absolutely no, you are stepping away. And why wouldn't he? The agent's job is to make sure that he can get his young man signed to the best contract possible. Well, we all see the way it works in Dallas. You can say it doesn't, but hey, they do cave. So, Max is right when they talk about caving. Well, when you look at it, the guys they rewarded Ezekiel Elliott. He had time left on his contract. And all he does is go to Cabo, and then he breaks the market. Here, this is the face of your franchise outside of your owner, and to me, he's your best player. So step up and pay him. Hopefully that happens. But I will tell you this, from a coaching standpoint, this is awful for Mike McCarthy, because this is going to be the first time Mike McCarthy can send his message out to the entire football team. So it's important from a coach's standpoint, I can promise you, but I also get it from Dak's agent perspective, and that's why he's holding out. But to me, Dak is all about, he wants to get this done. Are you kidding me? Man, if he's got, whatever week, he's sitting back going, look, he's working out like crazy. Why? He wants to win. That's who this kid is. He wants to get a fair contract and now go out there and do it. Believe me, he wants to be at every one of these virtual meetings and staying ahead of the game. But I understand business is business, and we know if you sit out, you get rewarded. At least that's been the history of the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, Coach, if your point is that, of course, the Cowboys are going to cave, but you have to jump through certain hoops, you have to take certain steps, and this is a necessary step in order to get them to the cave, okay, I could accept that. I think that's a good argument. I don't even think this is a necessary step to get them to cave. This is just what they do. I mean, to hold out of a virtual workout, maybe it'll expedite the process by a week or two, but they're going to pay Dak. They've already offered him over $100 million. He's the one saying, oh, wait a minute, when this thing gets reworked and the TV money eventually goes up, I want even more. I mean, it's like details at this point. So I'll back off and say, okay, if the reality is that his agent, clearly, but if the reality is his agent is right, that this is what you need to do to get them to cave, fine. It just seems to me they're going to cave anyway.
Well, here's the deal that I think you're missing. When we talk about the quarterback position, we're not just talking about ability to throw the football. We're talking about leadership, which every coach and every NFL official that I know of religiously mentions when it comes to the quarterback. This dude has been a consummate leader. He's been reliable. He's been dependable. He's been available. And you have literally snubbed your nose at him by paying other people instead of hunkering down and taking care of him. So what's the best way to make them feel your presence? By excluding yourself from their face. You know what? Removing yourself, rather, and stepping back and not being available. Let's see how the Dallas Cowboys will do if Dak Prescott just hunkers down and says, you know what, I have nothing to say. Handle my business here. Let's get this done or leave me the hell alone. Let's see how they act then.
Fair enough.
Well,
Since
Stephen,
his rookie season, he's top five. Go ahead, Rex.
Yeah, when I look at it, I was just going to say this. Stephen A. talks about his availability, his durability, all the leadership and all that. By the way, he's been outstanding, and especially last year. They lead the league in offense. This man should be paid. He's one of the best quarterbacks, in my opinion, the second best quarterback in the NFC. So why wouldn't you pay that? To me, you've paid other guys. You paid Amari Cooper $100 million. I never understood that one. So to me, this is the guy you need to pay. And there's no reason it doesn't get done. Get it done right now. Instead of him being anything negative associated with this young man. He needs to be the face of your franchise with your owner. We get that, but you need to treat him like this. And so far, you haven't treated him like that.
No question, Rex. He's a high character guy. That's high praise coming from you. And since his rookie season, top 5 in TDs, wins in QBR. It really is impressive. Rex Ryan, always good to see you. Stay safe. We'll talk to you soon.